I've lost contact with my dad and I'm scared he's missing. I am really sorry, man. I hope someone who can help sees this post up voting. Stay strong, brother. This is the time where you file a police report and get their help. If you are worried about him and something is off, get their help. They'll have resources where they can find the company he works for or whatnot. It may not come up with a lot, but it's worth it to take a shot, especially if you are worried and something isn't right. Also, don't worry about wasting their time if everything turns out okay. This is what they are there for. Who else in his life do you know that you can call? Repost on our trucking, they might have some ideals. Hope you find him well. Keep us updated. Do you have information on his employer? Perhaps if you do, you could reach out to them with your concerns. They will at the very least know what his last route should have been. I really hope you get in touch with him and laugh about the dumbass reason he could not get in touch. You can contact the police department in the place he lives at and request a welfare check at his address. And attempt to file a missing persons report through them if they can't make contact with him. Be prepared to provide his full name, date of birth, and address at a minimum. This information can be used to check in on local hospitals and jails, etc. I have no idea what you or your dad's situation is like, and I'm not saying that he's going to do this, but the caveat to this is he's an adult, and if he's found safe and doesn't want them to tell you where he is, they probably won't give you any info other than he's okay. I know your parents aren't together, but does your mom know the company he works for? She may be able to help. Best of luck. Find his employer if you can. Most truck companies track trucks to ensure efficiency. They will be able to tell you the route and info, etc. If you can access his apartment, check mail to see if I can find employer. Rule out the worst. First, Google his name. Only some automobile accidents make the news, but almost all accidents involving trucks make for a story someplace. You've said elsewhere that you don't know who his employer is. My question is, does he have an employer? Or is he an owner, op, driving his own truck? If he drives for a specific company, it will be easier. Is his phone in his name? Is the phone number prefix the same as where he lives? Could it be a company-issued dumb phone? Find out what terminals are near where he lives. Trucking companies like knowing what their drivers are doing and where, especially if the cab has that company's name on it. If he was going to drop off a load on his way to you, and most drivers would, it adds another data point. I mean, sure, call the cops, but don't be surprised if they aren't in a hurry to do anything. Next move, if you don't hear from him, is ask landlord to go into his room and try and find company he works for. Were there any storms, snow around your area or nearby states? He could have gotten stuck there, and he's just waiting for the road to clear. My mom stopped answering my calls once when I was about 12. She was an addict and I lived with my dad at that time. My little brother was freaking out about not talking to her, so I called the cops to do a welfare check. She was pissed at the time, but she understood later. I just needed to know if she was alive. I think you should call the police and send them for a welfare check. In my mother's case, she was just on a 2-week meth bender. Do you have any pictures of him with his truck? You may be able to get a company name from there. Do you know where he lives? Might be worth calling the local hospitals. I know that's a horrible thought, but worth crossing off your list of potential things that have happened. Do you know what kind of truck he drives? I.e. van hauler, flatbed, oversize? Is he a local driver maybe? If he's local and drives anything but a van, you may be able to narrow down which company he could work for. More than likely whatever town he lives in has a trucking yard where he drops his truck when he goes home. Try Googling trucking companies in that town and calling a couple of them. The dispatcher will be able to tell you if he works for them and where he is. Remind me. One day. Yes, I would file a police report. I pray he's okay. If you hear from him, and I truly hope you do, ask him to please tell you if he's not coming. Maybe he thinks you'll be mad at me for canceling, so he's just avoiding the conversation? If so, tell him you'd rather hear him say he can't make it than to not hear anything at all. Also, when you talk to him, ask the name of the company he works for and what state they are located out of. That way you can always contact them if anything were to ever happen like this again. If you can, keep us updated. I'd love to hear that he's safe and sound. Folded hands, folded hands, folded hands.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. TooAfraidToAsk is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.